This year's Gen Con was such a great event. Let me give you my thoughts on the event itself and also about the Arthurian Legends reveals made during the event. Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Hank from Wizard's Den, and today I will talk about the Gen Con 2024, which took place 2 weeks ago in Indianapolis. I will talk about the event itself and also some critical Arthurian Legends information that were revealed during the event. Here are the different sections for this episode, and let's get into it. Before I start, I already made a vlog-style first-person recap of Gen Con. If you haven't watched that, it might be cool watching that first so you might have a better idea on what I would be talking about. I will include a link in the description of this video. So here are my summarized impression of the sorcery events at Gen Con this year. As a whole, the event really improved over the last year in every aspect, and I think Eric's Curiosa did an extremely great job to execute this event. The first improvement, which I think everyone will agree, is the existence of an official Eric's Curiosa booth to sell products and do some promotion. For the ones who don't know, we didn't have this last year, and to be clear, having a booth at Gen Con is very difficult. It's not something you can just pay and get a space. It's more of a political decision and connections that really matters to get one. Last year, they weren't able to get one. This year, they were able to. The booth looked really great with large panels and showcasing the Arthurian Legends cards and giving out promos. Having a booth was really good, as you can tell the Learn to Play event attendees, did you like the game? You did? Well, there is an official Eric's Curiosa booth to pick up some products, so go visit them. Being able to tell this was really big. Not to mention the advertisement effect of the booth too. I really hope they get the booth again next year so we can have the same kind of experience again. Now, the other thing I really liked about this year's event is the banners they put up in the event section. This was one of the feedbacks I gave to Eric's Curiosa, and I thank them they did make one this year. Last year, they didn't have any of these that act both as a notification of the event space and an advertisement of the game. It really makes the people passing by look and try to see what is going on, especially when the space was filled with people. Having a really large event banner like this was really great, and I was really happy when I saw this the first day. Lastly, I would like to touch on the number of attendees this year. Compared to last year, we were able to double the number of attendees. This is really huge. A steady growth of the event indicates growth of the gaming population, and I think this is a strong indication of sorcery's popularity. It is really nice to see filled tables with fairly big sections of the Gen Con arena used up. That itself acts as an advertisement, and I am pretty sure it caught many people's attention who were passing by the tables. I would really like to thank the attendees who joined, as you were part of the equation for this successful event at Gen Con. Now some bads. The first one is that the tickets for the sorcery event sold out really quickly. It seemed like there was much more demand than the event space that Eric's Curiosa was allocated, and there were unfortunate folks who weren't able to join the event. This is something that Eric's Curiosa can't control, as it's space allocation from the Gen Con committee based on past records. Let's hope next year there will be an even larger allocation, so everyone would be able to join. By the way, just as a reminder, there are always no-shows at the event, which was true for both this year and last year's event. So you could be able to join even if you weren't able to secure the ticket before the event. If you are going to Gen Con anyways, it's always great to check if there are open spaces, as you might be able to join. The next thing that caused some minor inconvenience was that the distance from the event space and the Eric's Curiosa booth was far. Here's a map of the whole Gen Con event space. Gen Con used two buildings to run events: Indiana Convention Center and Lucas Oil Stadium. Sorcery event took place in the Lucas Oil Stadium, and the booth was located in the Convention Center. This is separated roughly by 500 meters, and it takes a fair bit of time to walk between the two locations. Gen Con is an extremely crowded event this year, especially. You need to walk through the crowds to move between these two locations, and it takes almost 30 minutes at best. Previous year's event space was in the convention center, and if we had the event space there this year, it would have been the optimum location. Of course, as I talked about in the booth and the event space allocation, this is not something Eric's Curiosa can control. They were fortunate enough to just get both. Let's just hope next year that Gen Con committees will take into consideration of this year's achievements, so we would be able to get the booth and the events located within the convention center. I would like to close the Gen Con section by saying it was a great event. If you haven't joined this year, try to come next year and let's have fun. Next on the list, Arthurian Legends. At Gen Con, we had numerous Arthurian Legends reveals, including the actual booster box and the booster pack as shown in the image here. This is a picture I took at the volunteer dinner table, and it looked really nice. Now, some information we obtained here is that we have 24 packs inside this box instead of the 36 packs like beta, 15 cards per pack, and there is more than 220 cards in this set. In the official spoiler, Eric's Curiosa said more than 250 cards, so I don't know the nature of the discrepancy of this number. Maybe it's alt arts or perhaps some reprints, but I think we will find out soon. Now, one thing people are talking about often is regarding the MSRP of this product, and it is $129 US. MSRP for beta was $150, so compared to that, the price has increased as there are less packs in a box. This is my speculation, but I think this is just the result of having one set per year. If you have less cards in one set, you will expect less box sales per person for that set. But if you need to maintain your annual revenue to keep the company afloat, you need to increase the price. Though I understand there are people upset about the increase, welcome. This is what one set per year really means. As for card spoilers, there were many cards revealed at Gen Con booth. I didn't want to make a slideshow of all the card images, so I just summarized the cards in one table so you can check what cards have which effects. Please note that the list might be incomplete as I found out that they rotated out some cards in the showcase and there were different cards in different days of the event. So there could be cards I missed as I was playing in the event. Also for Arthurian Legends, we have new binders, which was something everyone was waiting for, and also sleeves. I remember during Alpha, Eric's Curiosa did plan to have sleeves, but the quality was unsatisfactory, so decided to skip for it during Kickstarter. As a player, I am definitely looking forward for the sleeves. Only complaint I have for the sleeves is that the avatar sleeves looks almost the same as the spellbook, so it becomes easy for them to get mixed up in the spellbook deck. I use transparent sleeves to prevent this from happening. Small thing, but that's my 2 cents. Now let's talk about the new draft set. Gen Con was the first event that debuted the new draft set that consists of a new Spellcaster avatar and ordinary draft sites. The new Spellcaster avatar has no special ability except for letting you start with 4 spells instead of 3, and the ordinary sites provide no effect and only provides mana and threshold. Also, foil version of the Spellcaster avatar was provided as a promo, and the foil draft sites were given out as prizes at the event. Note that the foil draft sites will be provided in the Play Network as dust rewards, so don't go crazy on eBay trying to get these cards. By the way, the type line of the spellcaster avatar reads, "Your avatar drafts the winning agenda." And this is a tribute to Jesse from Winning Agenda YouTube channel for his contribution to the game. Make sure you guys get this spellcaster card signed by Jesse when you visit his store. Now let me give you some thoughts on how this new draft set changed the draft scene. The new avatar is clearly weaker than any other avatar. If you draft any other avatar, that itself is a huge advantage. So what happens is that you now see different avatars popping up in different pods, which is really good to see more variety in the decks people make. The other side of this is that if you didn't draw an avatar, you are going to have a tough time trying to win. So I do have a mixed feeling on this. The removal of the old basic sites really have a huge effect. You won't see turn 6 clansmen or won't be able to ping tufted turtles with a desert. It does change the game strategy a lot, and I think as a whole this is a really nice change in the draft scene. I am looking forward to be able to play draft with these new draft cards in Japan after Arthurian Legends. So if you are Japanese locals watching here, let's hope we can play with these soon. So that's it for today's episode. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future episodes regarding sorcery. Thanks for watching, and until next time, have a great game.